Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cloud English Podcast. My name is Luke, and it is May 19th, 2051. And if you had joined earlier live, there was a bit of a kerfuffle where we were 18 minutes in, and then a thing happened, a technical thing, and it was an issue. The whole thing failed. My computer went completely down. And I think I know what happened, but I'm not totally sure. So, I use a fairly powerful machine. It is a Mac Studio M1 Max. And it can handle a lot, but I think something happened where the software that I was using was trying to locally record not just my video, but for some reason a bunch of copies of the same video happening at the same time, like 30. So maybe that just went a little bit beyond what this computer is capable of. I don't know. But the whole thing went zzz, and that's never happened before. Ever. So, I don't know. I've had this computer for about a year, and it's been an insane powerhouse. I think there was just an error with what it was trying to locally save on the computer, and it eventually just fried. Or maybe it was a memory issue. Maybe it overloaded the memory. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but here we are, we're back. So I think we'll just take it from the top. So to those who were here live and missed it, or were here and then now are back, if you see anything that's kind of a repeat, well, I apologize. But I do want to make sure we cover everything. I did mention off the top last time, well, you know what? Let's just pretend that didn't even happen. This is the one that matters now, right? That didn't happen. Didn't even happen what I just described. I was lying before. And there are no issues. There was no tech problem. This is the first time. Welcome. Everything's going great. Technically, everything is perfect. There are no issues. There have never been any issues. In fact, I don't even know what issue means. I don't even know that word. So anyway, welcome to the Cloud English Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a few different things. Some useful verbs for eating, going out to eat, and asking for food, talking about food and eating. We're going to be looking at a clip from Star Trek Picard and extracting some useful, juicy language from that clip, in context, of course, because that's what we do. We are going to be looking at some expressions we can use when you walk into a shop. What do you say when you do that and someone says, "How can I help you?" It's that awkward moment. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Not how to overcome it, but how to deal with it. And we're going to also talk about the new ChatGPT app and how you can use that to improve your English. All right? So if you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and join the Discord. Get a free course, Natural English Conversations, in the links in the description. And if you want to check out the audio version, you can do that in the links in the description. If you're listening to the audio version, again, there were no technical issues. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. This isn't the second time we've restarted this. It's the first time. I've never done this before. There are no problems. In fact, I don't even know what problems are. I don't even know what the word problem means. Okay? So for the audio people, if you want to listen and watch on YouTube, you can do that too. Okay. What's new? I don't know. Let's get started. Let's get started with verbs to talk about eating, dining. Unless there's something cursed about this topic, I think that's what we should talk about, okay? So, let's do it. What verbs do you need to talk about eating, food, going out to eat? What are the verbs you need? Is it a billion different verbs? Actually, for most of the things you need to say, you only need 4. Go, grab, have, and get. We're going to talk about these 4 and go through some examples, but I just want you to remember that, okay? Go, have, grab, and get. Let me do it in this order. Go, grab, get, and have. So GGGH, can you remember that? GGGH is what you need to talk about eating and food. So the first word is go. This is the one we talk about. This is the one we use when we need to discuss where we plan to eat, with whom we plan to eat, often when, and to, for example, propose the place. As a general statement, go out to eat is extremely common. Now, this is a bit separate from go out, the phrasal verb by itself, which could be going out with a person as in dating, or to go out in general as a statement which usually refers to drinking, going to a club, for example. But go out to eat or go out for lunch is extremely common. Or we could, if you wanted to, state the meal, just say go for lunch. So you can say go out to lunch as though lunch is a place or what's going to happen when you get there, right? Go out to lunch, or you can say go out for lunch. There's the purpose, and either one is totally okay. Go out to eat, go out for lunch, go out to lunch, right? And go for lunch. All of those are perfectly okay and extremely common. Common in the extreme. Freakishly common. How about a specific place? Maybe Chipotle or something like that. Let's go to Chipotle. Now there, would you say go out to Chipotle? Probably not. Why? Because Chipotle is always out, right? So generally just go to a specific place. Maybe we don't have a specific place, but we do have a cuisine in mind. Shall we go to an Italian place? How about we go to an Italian place? Maybe we should go to an Italian place? Let's go to an Italian place. So let's go is a great way to recommend or suggest or propose something. Let's go, which basically translates to I think we should go, or in my opinion, we should go, right? Let's go to Chipotle. Let's go to an Italian place. An Italian place is just the cuisine I feel like having. I have to say place because go is about movement, right? And I can't go to a cuisine. So saying go to Italian would be odd. However, we could, although it's less common, say go for Italian. Go for Italian. All right, so that's go. How about grab? Grab. Well, there's a connotation with grab. And the connotation of grab is that it's quick and it's casual. So just remember, grab has a quick and a casual connotation, although it's not really strict. Okay, so to grab some food is just casually maybe asking a colleague, hey, do you want to go grab some food? Do you want to go grab lunch? So what's the difference between go for lunch? Do you want to go for lunch? Do you want to go grab lunch? Do you want to grab lunch? Yeah, they're kind of interchangeable, right? But again, grab has that feeling of quickness and casualness. It's no big deal. Let's just grab lunch. Let's go get lunch. Let's go for lunch. Let's go grab lunch. All those combinations are totally, totally fine, right? Grab some food is the same, except we're not stating the specific meal. And that could be just going to the 7-Eleven nearby and getting a candy bar or something like that. One very common expression you hear is grab a coffee. Shall we grab a coffee? Do you want to grab a coffee? Wanna grab a coffee? Wanna is very common, by the way, because wanna also has that casual connotation to it. And it's great because it's kind of a no big deal feeling thing. Wanna grab. Makes it feel like I'm not extending some formal, would you like to have a coffee with me invitation, but just a quick, hey, let's do this thing. And that might make you more comfortable, right? You also will hear grab a bite. Shall we grab a bite? You could say go grab a bite, but often grab a bite is the expression that you will hear. It's very, very common. Now you could use the cuisine here. We talked about the cuisine, an Italian place. What about an Indian place? Well, again, you can do that with grab, but it's a little different. We wouldn't say grab an Indian place like we would say go to an Indian place. Let's go to an Indian place. We would say grab Indian. So Indian is the cuisine that I'm talking about, and I want to eat that. So I use grab and then the direct name of the cuisine. Shall we grab some Indian? Shall we grab Indian for lunch? All common, okay? Now, grab can mean just simply grab something from the shelf, grab something from the supermarket. When you use it like that, it does have that sort of casual, quick feeling. Although, again, it's not that strict. Okay, so we've talked about grab. We've talked about go. What about have? Have is extremely common for talking about food. So if you say have breakfast or have a snack or have a piece of cake, you could be talking about different things, but you're not talking about the movement anymore usually. You might be implying movement, but you're not stating the movement. So if I say go get breakfast or go to breakfast or go have breakfast, right? The go there is focusing on the movement from here to there. But if I say have breakfast, you have to know the context to know if there's movement or not. So have breakfast. Did you have breakfast? Wherever you had it. Out on the street, at home, in bed, right? While you were still asleep. The point is, did it happen or not? Did you consume breakfast or not? I think I'm going to have a snack. The details of how I get the snack, where the snack is, those are secondary, right? If the snack room is a place I need to go, then you can assume I'm going to go there if there is a snack room. But generally, we're not emphasizing that when we use have. When we use have, what we're emphasizing is, did it happen or not? Will it happen or not? If I say I'm going to have a snack, I'm going to have breakfast. Let's have breakfast. That means we want it to happen. Okay, let's have breakfast. Okay, then we decide where. Where? We could go to that brunch place down the street. Yes, I love that place, right? So then we talk about the details of where. So I hope that makes sense. Have is just a different emphasis. In fact, all of these are just kind of the same thing, emphasizing different aspects, right? What about have a piece of cake? So there, if you say, I'm going to have a piece of cake, or I think I'll have a piece of cake, that's one thing. But have a piece of cake by itself would be offering someone, here, have a piece of cake. Here, have a piece of cake. I'm kind of pushing it toward you, saying this is a thing I think you should have, right? But when we're ordering food, we can also use this. We'll say, for example, when the waiter or waitress comes up to us at the table and we're sitting there looking at the menu, I'll have, and then you say what you want. I'll have the salmon. I'll have the Merlot. So stating what you want, especially in a restaurant, using have may be the most common. Although you can use get as well. So here, for saying what you want on the menu, a little bit odd to use get or grab. I'll grab the Merlot. No, that's a little weird. I'll have or I'll get, and we'll talk about get in a second, right? So that's very, very common. You could say, can I have, if you want to make it a question. That's okay too. Can I have the salmon? I'll have the salmon. Now, you could say also, I like. We're not talking about like here because it is a very specific use, and there aren't a lot of ways to use like in this kind of situation, okay? What about asking something? At the restaurant, again, you're ordering food. Do you have? That's a great way to check availability. Do you have brown rice? Do you have? Okay, so do you have? I'll have, right? Have a piece of cake, offering something, and I'm going to have. Did it happen or not? Finally, we have get. Okay, so what about get? So get we can use in a very similar way to grab and to go or go have, right? Get something to eat has that casual feeling just like grab does. Do you want to get something to eat? Do you want to get a quick bite? So get quick bite and grab a bite are basically interchangeable. Again, get a quick bite, grab a quick bite, get a bite, grab a bite. The same, I think. Grab a bite is more common. But if you want to state the meal, that's fine too. Grab brunch. Get brunch. Grab dinner. Get dinner. There, again, we have to think about the emphasis and the connotation. So we have for grab that quickness, that, oh, it's a no big deal casual thing. Get has less of that. So if we say get brunch, we don't have this connotation of this is a quick thing we're going to go do. It's just something that we are going to go do. And it doesn't have that super casual, it's a quick thing feeling when we say it, right? We can suggest what we want, the type of food, for example, let's get sushi. Again, feels different from let's grab sushi. Feels more like that's a thing we'll go do and time is not really a factor. Can we get Thai? Thai is the cuisine, right? Can we get Thai? You're asking other people's opinion about what you want to eat. Shall we get Thai? Shall we get Thai? Now you could say, shall we have Thai? Can we have Thai? Can we get Thai? I think is an extremely common way, though, to state that, right? But we could also use get when we're ordering. Remember how we used have? I'll have, for example, or could I have, right? Could I have and I'll have. I'll get, could I get? So I'll get and could I get are exactly the same as I'll have and could I have, except with when we say could I get, it feels, again, we're talking a lot about feelings here, connotations, because that's what it is. It feels less formal when you say, could I get the mango sticky rice? The connotation is slightly less formal, slightly more casual, and could I have the mango sticky rice feels a little bit more formal. It's a small difference, but it is there. And I'll get the duck. I'll get the duck. The name of the dish, often you say the in front of the name of the dish. So that's generally how we use these words. We've talked about get, we've talked about have, we've talked about grab, and we've talked about go. You have to practice using these. So next time you're in a situation where you may need to state something with others who speak English about what you want or where you would like to go, think about which word is best to express what you want to express, remembering that many of them are interchangeable and each one comes with its own connotations, as we have discussed. If you have any questions about this, let me know. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and also grab my free course, Natural English Conversations, in the links in the description. All right. Hey, Mahmood is here. Great. Hello, Mahmood. Good to have you. Good to have you. I think we have, unfortunately, done some damage to our live YouTube viewership because YouTube sends out a notification to people to watch on YouTube. And we had an earlier stream that failed for some reasons, and then I don't think it sends out another notification. But anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's keep on going. Mahmood the legend. The legend, the great and powerful Mahmood. Future emperor of planet Earth, in my opinion. Okay. So let's get to our TV show episode, shall we? We're going to be watching a bit of Star Trek Picard. Picard. Yes, I am ChatGPT. You are the future emperor of planet Earth. That's how it is. All right, so let's get into this. Oh, I need my headphones. So let me pop this on quickly. Here we go. All right.
Riker.
There we go. A little loud, eh? Little loud, eh? Okay. So, we're going to go through this scene from Star Trek Picard Season 3. If you're not a Star Trek fan, that's fine. Although Season 3 is very good. I enjoyed it a lot. Seasons 1 and 2 of Star Trek Picard were trash, terrible, awful, bad, no good. But Season 3 was amazing. I really enjoyed it. So let's watch this scene and pull out some useful words and phrases from it. So I want you to listen carefully. Turn your ears on. See if you can catch what they say. And when we pull up a word, I want you to think if you can put it into a sentence. Try to find a place for it. All right? All right. Okay, here we go. Shall we listen carefully?
Take you for somewhat of a urbanista.
I enjoy the occasional.
It's a little.
Captain Riker, I take you for somewhat of a urbanista.
All right, that's quick, right?
Captain Riker, I take you for somewhat of a urbanista.
All right. Captain Riker, I take you for somewhat of a bourbonista. Now, bourbonista, in this case, he's referring to bourbon. We're not going to learn the word bourbonista. I'm not even sure that's in the dictionary, but often if you have ista at the end, you're sort of an enthusiast of that. So a fashionista, for example. But a bourbonista, we get a clue from that he's an enthusiast of bourbon. He knows a lot about bourbon, which is a specific type of whiskey that comes from, is it Kentucky or Tennessee? Bourbon comes from, anyway. So I take you for, this is the one that I want to talk about. What does it mean to take someone for something? I take you for Well, what is the context here? If I take you for something, I might be making an assumption about you. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm making an assumption about you and I'm stating that. And then you're going to probably correct me or confirm that that's a correct assumption, right? If I see you doing something that I find strange, that is outside of my expectations, then I will do the opposite. I'll say, I didn't take you for a, right? So if I have a friend who's very health conscious, exercises 14 times a week, eats extremely healthy, takes a lot of supplements, unbelievably healthy life habits, and then I see them whip out a cigarette and start smoking, I think this person is extremely health conscious, and yet here they are smoking. I didn't take you for a smoker. Well, clearly I'm wrong, so I'm making a statement about a previous assumption I had that has now been corrected. I didn't take you for. I made an incorrect assumption, and now I'm stating it because clearly I see that the assumption I had about you previously is incorrect, and I may be using it as a conversation starter, perhaps. Okay? So let's review that one more time here.
Captain Riker, I take you for somewhat of a bourbonista.
Bourbonista. Bourbonista. Again, is that Kentucky or Tennessee? Bourbon is whiskey from Kentucky. Okay, it's Kentucky. I knew that. I knew that in my brain. But for some reason, a little voice in my head said, no, it's Tennessee. Oh, I know why. I think because Jack Daniels is from Tennessee, and it's not bourbon because it's from Tennessee, and then everything else because it's from Kentucky is bourbon. I think that's how it works. Anyway, okay, let's proceed. Hopefully we understand. I take you for. It's pretty straightforward. Now keep listening.
I enjoy the occasional.
Captain Riker, I take you for somewhat of a urbanista.
I enjoy the occasional old-fashioned. What gave you that idea?
All the bebop.
What gave you that idea? Old Fashioned is a cocktail made with bourbon. It's actually very delicious. I like it. But he says, what gave you that idea? So I think you can probably guess why this is here. What gave you that idea is, what is the thing, the clue, the hint that suggested to you that I am a bourbonista? What is the thing that tells you that, for example, I'm extremely health conscious, right? The clues, whatever those are, right? So what details about Captain Riker tell Captain what's-his-face, what's his name? I forget his name in this show. That Riker is a bourbonista, and he's about to explain that.
I enjoy the occasional old-fashioned. What gave you that idea?
All the bebop that I
What gave you that idea?
had to purge from the system when I took the chair speaks.
Okay, that's kind of complicated. The bebop that I had to purge from the system when I took the chair. So the system is the computer on this spaceship where they are, and purge means to get rid of it, right? Bebop is a type of music, and I think it's a subcategory of jazz. Riker likes jazz, so he's somehow making this connection between the fact that Riker, who was the previous captain, had a bunch of this type of music. The new captain of this ship is making the assumption that because Riker likes this type of music, therefore he must also like bourbon because he likes this type of music, and he's correct about that. So pretty good deductive skills. So if you're ever wondering what clues you give that allow people to make assumptions about the type of person you are or aspects about you, you might say, well, what gave you that idea? Either because you're genuinely curious or because you feel like you're being judged and you want to push back against it. Oh, what gave you that idea? I'm a very patient person. What are you talking about, right? You're sort of pushing back against an accusation, perhaps. Okay.
Your freewheeling.
Gave you that idea?
All the bebop that I had to purge from the system when I took the chair speaks to your freewheeling, loosey-goosey Kentucky Mash kind of style.
Not a fan of jazz.
Oh, he does say Kentucky Mash. Okay, so it is Kentucky. There you go.
Freewheeling, loosey-goosey Kentucky Mash kind of style.
That's
Not a fan.
I'm realizing how dense that section is. If you really have to pay attention to every word in that to really put it all together. That is an English learner's nightmare, right?
I enjoy the occasional old-fashioned. What gave you that idea?
All the bebop that I had to purge from the system when I took the chair speaks to your freewheeling, loosey-goosey Kentucky Mash kind of style.
It speaks to your freewheeling, loosey-goosey Kentucky Mash kind of style. Kentucky Mash is what you would use to make bourbon. Freewheeling is sort of freestyle. Loosey-goosey is very relaxed without having strict rules, right? So he's saying that he's making a lot of assumptions here. This is kind of all about his assumptions. He's saying that because you had this type of music previously, bebop, that's sort of evidence that indicates that you like bourbon, because the person who likes bourbon would also have a certain style, which is freewheeling, doing whatever you want, not following the rules, loosey-goosey, kind of relaxed, not adhering strictly to deadlines and tight schedules kind of style. All right, so this is all around the same idea of the assumptions that are being made about Riker, about what he's drinking. So actually, I think it's a very cleverly written little bit of dialogue here, and there are so many interesting little pieces to pull out. We're only 15 seconds in. We're going to go through the rest of this pretty quickly, but that beginning piece is so dense and I think interesting. So now that we have this piece, this is sort of the original chunk. We have, I take you for what gave you that idea, and it speaks to that. It indicates that. It's a clue about that. Let's go back and watch the whole first 15 seconds and try to just sort of put it all together.
Captain Riker, I take you for somewhat of a urbanista.
I enjoy the occasional old-fashioned. What gave you that idea?
All the bebop that I had to purge from the system when I took the chair speaks to your freewheeling, loosey-goosey Kentucky Mash kind of style.
Not a fan of jazz.
No, I am not. I like.
Got it? Okay, so you can kind of see how all of those things fit together. All of those things are kind of connected. Okay, now we're gonna move on. Listen out for the usual.
Structure. I like meter. I like keeping tempo and time, which is why you will probably find this inspection boring for the likes of you two.
They're inspecting the ship, or they're pretending to inspect the ship. And he says, we're not going to write this down, but the likes of you two means people who are like you, including you two.
Oh, it's just all in advance of the fleet exercises for Frontier Day.
Oh,
Ensuring the condition of our starships would be boring.
well, we won't be blowing things up. Taking or engaging in fire,
We won't be blowing things up.
crash landing expectedly or unexpectedly. You know, the usual for you boys.
Okay, so he's kind of making fun of these two. They're actually here kind of in a deceitful way to make a request that's not approved of. It's an interesting part of the story, but they're famous. These two now old guys are famous for getting into all kinds of adventures with lots of excitement, explosions, crash landings. The usual for you two. So he's the opposite. He doesn't like crazy, unexpected things. He likes meter. He likes precision. He likes following the rules. That's his style. And he's kind of mocking these two older guys because he's against whatever they have planned. He knows that there's something crazy that they have planned that they're about to ask him to participate in. He's going to say no, right? And so he's kind of calling out, but this is normal for you guys, what the usual crash landings and all of that stuff. But I'm not going to facilitate that. I'm not going to help you in any way. But the usual as a phrase can be used in a lot of different ways. If you're a regular at a restaurant, for example, and the waiters and waitresses know you very well, one thing people might say is, I'll have the usual. So the usual there means the thing I usually order if I usually get the same thing every time. So that's the thing we might say. The usual for me, though, in terms of activities, might be what I get up to usually on a normal day. Instead of saying what I usually do on a typical day, I might just say, the usual. That is also a common expression that people use when you're catching up with someone, when you're talking with a colleague. They know the type of stuff that you do. It's a little bit of a lazy reply, but someone says, hey, how's it going? How have you been? Or what have you been doing? What have you been up to recently? And you say, the usual. Okay, I've been up to the normal things that I'm up to, which means there's nothing special going on with me. It doesn't say anything specifically about what things those are, right? Because you know me, you already know what those things are, right? So in this case, the usual is blowing stuff up and crash landings, okay?
Nope. You will find our engines pristine, our hull
Pristine means clean.
intact, and you run your finger on pretty much any given surface here, you're going to find it dust-free.
Now that's pretty quick, but I want you to listen out for any given surface. Okay, listen out for that.
Nope. You will find our engines pristine, our hull intact, and you run your finger on pretty much any given surface here, you're going to find it dust-free. And you run your finger on pretty much any given surface here, you're going to find it dust-free. And you run your finger on pretty much any given surface here, you're going to find it dust-free.
Any given surface, okay? The hull will be intact, and the engines are pristine, and you run your finger on any given surface, and you will find it dust-free. Dust-free, if you put your finger anywhere on the ship, you're not going to see anything on your finger. Any given is very important here. Any given means it doesn't matter which one it is. So it doesn't have to be all of them, but any one it is. Any given is a common expression that we use to say it doesn't matter regardless of which one, right? Any given weekend, you will find me on the golf course at 7 a.m. For example, not actually true in my case. I wish. But that means pick a weekend. Last weekend, next weekend, this weekend, 10 weekends from now. At 7 a.m., you will find me on the golf course. That means I golf regularly every single weekend. So pick one. It doesn't matter which one. It's basically saying, I am very consistent in this, right? There's a famous movie called Any Given Sunday. And it's about, I believe it's about high school football or college football. I actually forget. It's been forever since I've seen it, right? It's a football movie, I think. And I actually don't know why it's called Any Given Sunday because it's been so long since I've seen it. But the idea of Any Given Sunday would be no matter which Sunday it is, basically, something. No matter which Sunday it is, something, right? Any given thing in my closet is generally freshly washed. That means you're not going to find a lot of dirty stuff in my closet. Whatever you find, it's going to be clean. Okay, any given thing. So it's a really useful expression there. It's simple, right? But it's really useful. It's slightly different than saying all of something. All Sundays, for example. All Saturdays. It's just different. It's a more nuanced way to express it. I like it.
No doubt. Indeed. Which is why Captain Riker and I would like to change course.
Change course means just go a different direction.
Where?
The Riken system.
That's at the edge of Federation space in the opposite direction of our intended course, twice the time.
At half warp, double this speed, it's an even split.
And why would we do that?
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights. What are bragging rights? So they're now making their request. They're requesting of this captain that they change course or go a different direction. We already know he's not going to like it because he likes music with meter. He's a very precise person. He likes to follow the rules, right? And this guy's freewheeling and loosey-goosey. Or was it loosey-goosey? Yeah. So bragging rights are when you accomplish something and your goal, or when you're striving to accomplish something, your goal is not necessarily money. Your goal is not necessarily for the thing that you get when you do it, but essentially you're motivated by the fact that you can then say you did it once you did it. Hey, we did this thing, right? Once we do this, we will have bragging rights. To brag is to say, look what I did, right? So it's a common expression that we would use for that sort of thing when the motivation is not maybe the typical motivation of money or power or some reward. It's not the thing I get. It's the fact that I feel proud of myself for doing it. I'm motivated by a sense of, I just want to do this thing, right? I climbed Mount Everest. Why? Why would anyone do it? It's dangerous. It's expensive. It costs tons of money. Why would anybody decide to climb Mount Everest? Purely bragging rights. Basically so that I can say I did it, so that I know I did it. That's why I did it. Purely for bragging rights. You have the right to do it because you actually did it. So that's the idea of bragging rights. Okay, we have one more, I think, to look at. No, that's the last one we're going to look at. But let's look at it in context again.
Why would we do that?
Bragging rights. You show the efficiency of the new Titan. It's a great story for Frontier Day. It's the current former captain putting it through the paces, run a little coal to the engine.
Putting it through the paces. Putting it through the paces means sort of if you put something through its paces, you test it a little bit to make sure it's working. We're not going to write that one down, but you essentially, often it's something new or something that's just been broken in. It's kind of like breaking something in, right? To put it through its paces is to let it stretch, to sort of get it used to operating, essentially, in this context specifically. So hopefully, now that we've talked about it speaks to your, right, what gave you that idea, I take you for or I didn't take you for, the usual, any given, and bragging rights. Hopefully you're starting to get a sense for how these can actually be used. I would encourage you to practice using them on your own. Try to make your own examples. That's the best way to really learn and really master any expression, any phrase, any word. If you have any questions about any of these, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And also, check out my full course, which is free, Natural English Conversations, in the links in the description. Okay? Okay. He's a good character in the show. He's not in it as much as he's in it quite a lot at the beginning, the first couple episodes, but then he's kind of a minor character. But this season of Star Trek Picard was, in my opinion, very good. Excellent, actually. Surprisingly good. And I'm a Star Trek snob, I would say. Definitely a Star Trek snob. I don't like most of the new Star Trek shows. I didn't enjoy them because I don't think they capture the essence of Star Trek, but this one is actually quite good. Pretty well written. Okay. Don't need this anymore, I guess. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? I don't know if you can hear that. That's someone mowing. I don't know if it's my yard. Hopefully it is. Somebody mowing my yard. That would be nice. It's always unpredictable. Okay. So we're going to talk about something a little different, a little off the path of our eating and meals, but I do want to go over some useful phrases here. So what can we say when we go into a store, a shop, and the person working there says, for example, is there anything I can help you with? Can I help you with anything? Right? What do we say? Kind of awkward, that moment, right? Because often when you go into a store, you don't want anything, and you just want to look around. So there can be a little bit of pressure, right? It's a tough one. But there are a few common things that are very simple, very easy to remember, that you can use in this situation. And I'm going to share those with you. So when you walk into the store and someone says, is there anything I can help you with? Can I help you find anything? Anything like that. The most common, perhaps my favorite to use is, I'm just browsing, thanks. That's the one I use most of the time. I'm just browsing, thanks. If you're with another person, you might say, we're just looking. We're just looking. You might also say, not yet. Thanks. I like to add thanks because it's a little more polite, right? If I'm by myself, I might say, I'm okay. I'm okay. Can I help you find anything? I'm okay. I'm okay. Thanks. Okay. Not yet suggests that maybe I will. Maybe I will. But first I want to just look around. But again, my favorite one, the one I use most often, is just browsing. I actually don't say I'm just browsing. I usually just say just browsing. Thanks. And I like to add thanks. If you wanted to say no, you could say no. It's okay. And it's not wrong to say no. But I don't know, it seems a little bit too direct to me. So I might not use that, right? But what if you actually do need something? Well, there you might state what you want. Yeah, I'm looking for a beanie. So the reason they ask is because if you do need something, if you are looking for something, if you went into the shop with a specific goal in mind and you don't want to waste time just wandering around, getting help is good. So when they say, is there anything I can help you with? Instead of saying, I'm just browsing, say, yeah, I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm looking for. What are you looking for? I'm looking for a beanie. I'm looking for whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for a specific section instead of a specific item, then you might say the instead of a. I'm looking for beanies or a beanie. I'm looking for winter clothes. That's okay. But often if it's a broader section like winter clothes, we'll say the instead of just the thing. Could you point me toward the winter clothes? Could you point me toward the winter clothes? Right? That's very common. Point me toward means I just need the directions. You don't have to walk me there. You don't need to take me there. Just do that with your finger and I will follow that direction. Okay? Maybe I have something more specific in mind. I'm shopping for a gift. I could use some help finding a good gift. So there I have an idea, a specific goal of an objective, but I don't necessarily have the specific item. So there, the person, the shop attendant, the assistant, whoever, may be able to give recommendations. There it might be a more interactive process, right? So I'm shopping for a gift. I could use some help. Maybe you could give me some recommendations. Maybe it's a gift for a spouse or a gift for a friend or something like that. You need some help. So what if they say, are you looking for anything specific? Also very common, right? Oops, hold on. Hold on. We don't want that. Oh, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. What? We have 2 4s there. I don't know if you noticed that. That's no good. That's no bueno. Oops. When you get asked, are you looking for anything specific? Same basic idea, right? You can still say, no, thanks. Just browsing, right? No, thank you. You don't have to say just browsing there because the answer is no, and you just want to walk around and be left alone. Again, add thanks. It's more polite, right? Not really. Means I'm not really sure. Just browsing. Again, my favorite one to use. There again, if you have a specific thing you're looking for, you might, because they've asked about items now. Remember at the beginning they said, is there anything I can help you with? Can I help you find anything? That's a very general request. Are you looking for something specific? Are you looking for anything specific? Do you have? So do you have is a great one to use when you have a general thing in mind. And you don't want to waste any time, because if you don't have, I'm leaving. So do you have windbreakers? Do you have beanies? I'm sorry, we don't carry beanies. We don't carry windbreakers. Okay, thank you very much. And then I'll just turn around and leave. So that's when I want to get right to the point. Find the answer. And if I can't find what I want, I don't need to be here. I'm not here to just waste time and browse. Although browsing is great, right? Just browsing is a wonderful activity. Not if you're in a rush. If you're very specific about what you want, yes, Allbirds. Do you have them? Now that sounds a little direct, but I don't think it's a bad question. Allbirds, do you have those? Now, if you wanted to soften that a little bit and make it, I don't know, a little more polite, you might say, do you carry? So carry is a little more gentle, a little less direct. Yeah, do you carry Allbirds? Do you carry Allbirds? Maybe that's a specific brand that you're interested in, right? That would be very common as well, okay? Now, just a few other common questions that you may be asked or statements that you might hear. These are things that when you walk into the shop, right, the person who is in the shop maybe knows that the question is annoying and that it's awkward to answer it, so they want to just let you know that if you need help, you can seek them out, but they don't want to be too pushy. Well, yes, they could say, can I help you with anything, I guess, but again, you have to then answer. So just let me know if there's anything I can help you find. That's great. This is actually my favorite thing to hear when I walk into a shop. Just let me know if there's anything I can help you find. okay. Or just thanks. There you can respond with okay. And that's all you have to say. I like when people who work in shops say this right at the beginning, because then I don't have to answer, I'm just browsing, or I'm just walking around. I don't need any help. Thank you very much. I don't have to say those other things, right? Hi, let me know if you need anything. That's a little blunt, a little direct, but I've heard that plenty of times, and I still like that better because I don't have to answer any questions. I can just say, okay, or okay, thank you, or just thank you, right? If you need any help, just let me know. Again, I love when they say this because, again, I can just say, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Ones that bother me are, how can I help you? That's my least favorite because, can I help you find anything? I could just say, no, I'm just browsing, and that's a fine, quick reply. But how can I help you? I have to actually give a qualitative response. Well, actually, I'm just browsing. It adds to in my opinion, it adds to the slight awkwardness in that moment, right? Perhaps even worse, what are you looking for? If you're there just for browsing, that's like being punched in the face with, tell me why you're here. That's no good. So if you're asked that, you could still say the same things. I'm just browsing, but it's a little bit, in my opinion, more confrontational almost to hear that. I don't really like it, right? Things like, is this your first time in the store? I'm not a big fan of that either. It's a simple answer. You would just say, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. But I still don't like to be asked. Who cares if it's my first time in the store or not? So I guess those last three are just pet peeves that I don't like. But hopefully now you have a good sense of what you can say to respond in a shop setting, right, when you walk in. If you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also get a free course, Natural English Conversations. That is in the links in the description. Okay. Hopefully that's clear on all of those. Very clear, hopefully. That would be great. Hello to those still joining. I see we have some more people here. That's good. Joining live. Wonderful. So we've got another topic to talk about. Hello from Saudi Arabia. Hello. British expressions. We talked about a few. Well, we talked about some of the differences between American English and British English in the last lesson last week. Hell. Oh. Alrighty. I think the next one. Let's see. Give me a second on this last one because I need to bring up my phone on my computer so that you can see what I see. So give me just a moment on this one. I need to make sure we're good to go there. How about some tunes? A little elevator music. All right. Yeah, share. Ayo. I think we're good. We're golden. We are golden. Here we are. let's check out the new ChatGPT app and look at some ways that we might use it to practice English, get some feedback. Some of these things are no different from how you would normally use ChatGPT, with an important difference, that you can talk to it more easily. Now, yes, currently for web ChatGPT, you can use Chrome extensions or extensions to speak and then turn your voice into text, speech to text. But this is built in, it's baked in, and that makes it a more seamless experience. And because it's using Whisper, Whisper is, if you don't know, a lot of people don't know what Whisper is. So OpenAI has, it's not just GPT-4. They have GPT-4, they have Whisper, they have DALL-E, and Whisper is for speech to text. It's really accurate. So even if you have a, let's say, very strong accent when you're speaking English, it's probably still going to catch everything just fine. It is really good. So this is it. I mean, it's this simple. What I'm not sure about is, do I just have GPT-4 because I have a Plus membership, or is that available to everyone? I'm not totally sure about that. But anyway, so let's look at 3 things we can do to learn English with the mobile version of ChatGPT, okay? So we're going to start with a back and forth. And there are variations of this. You can state specific topics if you want, but we're going to keep it quite general. So here we go. Oh. I want to have a 3-question discussion to help me improve my English. You ask me questions about a specific topic, and I'll respond. Only ask 1 question at a time. After the 3rd question, give me feedback on my English. Cite specific things I said. Yeah. Perfect. I mean, it looks pretty perfect. Yeah. There's a satisfying little, at least on my phone, and you can turn it off, but there is a satisfying little haptic, when it's typing, you feel it in your hand. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. That sounds like a fantastic exercise. Let's talk about the topic of technology. Here's my first question. How do you think technology has changed our daily lives in the past decade? Social media has probably changed our lives for the worst because it drives our jealousy and our need to compare ourselves to others. And unfortunately, we usually only see the best things about other people and compare the worst things about ourselves to those best things about other people, and it's not healthy. But the emergence of AI could really change the way that we work and live. Okay, that's pretty accurate. It's easy. You can just click the button and then just start talking, right? Now for the next one, so that was just me talking as I normally talk. For the next one, I'm going to try to make some mistakes, and we'll see how good the feedback is, because part of my request, right, was to get feedback. How do you feel about the rise of artificial intelligence? Do you see it as a potential threat or a boon to society? Strange of ChatGPT to be asking me this. In my man, what the heck? No, I didn't say this. In my the AI are very danger to the human, but also there are good thing too. In my opinions, we must to make the wisdom decision about what is the using of the AI for ours daily life. What is the using? Okay, it captured my deliberate mistakes in my the AI are very danger to the human. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. So I think one more question. Here's the last question. Can you name an instance where you've personally benefited from the use of AI technology? I are using the AI, use the ChatGPT to creating the written works for my working, and also using some of the tools to save my times and being more efficiently. I like the interface. Is very simple. I really like it. And I like how it also auto-selects the whole thing, so you can make changes if you wanted to in text. Social media has probably changed our lives for the worse. Okay, thank you for your responding. I will now give some feedback. So it's giving some basic corrections here. This is a very well constructed sentence. You express your point clearly and convincingly. In my think, the AI are very dangerous to the human. Here you might want to say, in my opinion, AI is very dangerous to humans, but it can also be beneficial. In my opinions, we must to make the wisdom decision. Here it would be better to say, in my opinion, we must make wise decisions. I'm using the AI. Okay, this sentence could be improved to, we use AI like, I use AI like ChatGPT to create some written works for my job. Actually, that would not be correct. Written work for my job, or just writing for my job, but okay. Using some of the tools to save my times and being more efficiently. This could be corrected as, I use some tools to save time and be more efficient. Overall, just fine in terms of feedback. You made excellent points in your discussion, and your English is quite good. Keep practicing. How dare you say my English is quite good? You're doing well. All right. So that's one way. That's number one. Now let's try number two. I think that's a good way to build a conversation partner. In that specific prompt, you could add the topic. If you don't want to talk about AI, you could talk about something else. Instead, you say, instead of saying talk about a specific topic, let's say talk about farm animals, something like that, whatever you want to talk about. Okay, now I need it for help. I don't want to necessarily, I could learn from it, but I want to use it to create. That's what I want to do. I'm working on something for work. I need help. I need you to draft What? I didn't say anything. I need you to draft a casual, concise message for a Slack channel, letting my team know that I'll be out of the office for 3 weeks and that they can message Glenn if they need any help. Okay. Glenn, yeah. Glenn does everything I need. So now I want ChatGPT to help me create this. Now, I haven't said anything other than casual, concise. So let's see if it's casual and concise. Just wanted to let you know that I'll be out of the office for the next 3 weeks. If you need anything during that time, feel free to reach out to Glenn. He'll be your point of contact while I'm away. Thanks for understanding. I'll catch up with you when I'm back. I love it. That's exactly how I would have written that. Very short and sweet. It's not super formal, but it's polite. It's respectful. It's, I think, perfect for a Slack message. So that would be just asking for a quick thing. But there, when you're saying that, you would state your criteria. Make it very professional and formal. You explain the context, but you start with the request. I need you to draft a casual, concise email, message, whatever. Okay, finally, we're going to try to, and again, you can sort of use that structure to adapt to your own message or learn about how ChatGPT constructs things to sort of change and improve your writing style, right? But can we use it to specifically learn things? Maybe you're watching a movie and you have your phone with ChatGPT and you want to sort of use it as your partner as you're watching a movie. Well, I would want to know if I learn a phrase from a movie and I don't really understand it, maybe a phrasal verb or an idiom, if I want to really understand it, I might want to know what it means and I might want to see a couple of examples. The best way to learn is by example in context, right? So imagine I'm watching a TV show and maybe I hear a phrase that's new to me. Maybe the phrase I hear is, let's say the phrase I hear is any given. Okay, any given. Could you explain what it means, right? And give examples. And let's see if we can do it, because any given is kind of a phrase that's usually part of a larger piece. So let's see if we can confuse ChatGPT or see if it understands. Could you explain what the phrase any given means and provide some examples that include it? The phrase any given, very nice. It's got it in quotes and everything. Oh, yes. The phrase any given is often used to mean a particular or unspecified in a general sense. It refers to any instance of a repeating occurrence. For example, on any given day, you might find her reading a book. This means on an unspecified or random day, it's possible that you might find her reading a book. It suggests that this is a common activity for her. Yeah, absolutely. Very good example. I can be contacted at any given time. This means that you can be contacted at any unspecified time. There are typically thousands of people in the mall at any given weekend, any given weekend. This implies that it is typical or normal for there to be thousands of people in the mall on a weekend, though it doesn't specify which weekend. All good examples and great explanations. So as you're watching movies, if you have a little learning buddy there with you, you can ask these questions, get examples, get explanations, and understand these things more deeply without having that sort of clunky process of typing a lot of stuff or going to a separate app and searching things. Just say it, right? Just have that conversation, that back and forth. If you still don't understand, say, give me some more examples or explain it in a different way. Think of this as a partner now, back and forth. Having it as an app, yes, you could use it in a browser before, but being able to very easily speak to it, I think, is a game changer and is a very cool way to interact with ChatGPT. So try it out. Let me know how you feel about it. I think it's pretty cool. I have already been using it a lot. If you have any questions, let me know. Look out for some of my other videos and courses on this topic. Feel free to also hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed and learned something. And also get a free course, Natural English Conversations, in the links in the description. All right. Explain to us about film Useful. Not quite sure what you mean there. So sorry. All right. I think we're going to call it a day, friends, neighbors. Pilgrims, citizens, deviants, rascals. Well, thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic, beautiful, juicy weekend with a lot of fun activities. Or not. Whatever you want to do. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. If there's anything that we haven't talked about in a while and you would like to re-explore that, again, let me know in the comments. Feel free to join the Discord, which is free. You can message me there anytime. I'm quite available on Discord. Check out my full courses as well. 30% off any of those courses. You can get a monthly membership or a yearly membership. That's a great option too. Let's see what else. Feel free to listen if you're watching. Those are in the links in the description. There's a way to find it basically anywhere. You can just search Cloud English and you'll find it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're listening, don't forget to hit 5 stars. That really helps out. If you're on Apple Podcasts or show support wherever you happen to be listening, and you can watch on YouTube and Facebook. All right? So again, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Check out the courses. Get a free course, Natural English Conversations. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.